now is my chance. So this is a brown crab, and it's a cock crab. The way to tell a cock crab from a hen, they've got bigger claws than a hen crab, and the tail flap is narrower. The advantage of a cock crab over a hen is you get more white meat for your money. They tend to be a bit more expensive, but they're easier to pick out. But occasionally, in season, and that's sort of in the autumn, a hen crab is a wonderful thing because you get this lovely red roe in the body section, which is delicious, but cock crabs generally are a better buy, I think. So just pull that tail off, and now pull the legs and the claws away. Now what I'm trying to do here is to pull as much of the legs and the claws away from the body as possible, because it makes it much easier to pick the meat out of the body section afterwards. See? Really sort of working a way to get those joints open. And even if I can't get the last knuckle joint out, I just use my crab pick to try and pull it out. See? Because when I come to do the body section, it's very easy to get in there with the sort of wide part of my crab pick. So pull away like that, same with the claws. Get some nice meat out of there as well. Other side, same way. Okay. There you go, and again you can see all the meat there, very easy to get out. Now to take the body section away from the back, which is called the carapace, I just get a knife and just drive it in just behind the eyes, just through the mouth, in like that, and then just twist. It comes away very easily. Just open it up to show the dead men's fingers. Now these are the gills actually of the crab. People often mistakenly say they're poisonous, but they're not. They're just, well, I always think them a bit like feathers. You just can't eat them. It's like eating bone. Now the first thing next is to get the brown meat out and look in the shell for the stomach first of all, because you don't want to eat that, believe me. If you see some of the crabs that I've seen brought up from the depths and seen what's in their stomach, you'd never want to eat that. It looks a bit like a polythene bag. So away with that. Just pull out any other obvious bits of feather and stuff that isn't edible, see? And the rest is. And I just weighed the crab with my hands at the beginning, and a crab should sort of feel sort of heavy for its weight. It should feel sort of satisfyingly heavy, because that means there's lots of nice brown meat in there. So just get a couple of bowls now, one for the brown meat and one for the white. Now then, I'm not going to use the brown meat in the next recipe, but it's worth keeping. It's delicious, it's lovely, and look at the way it comes away in great sort of, just put that up there so you can see it a bit easier. Lovely chunks. And one of the things I don't like about frozen crab meat, apart from the taste, is that it's always sort of mushed up into a sort of like paste. What I like in crabs, and I'm sure everybody else does, is that sort of chunkiness, and not only in the brown meat but the white meat as well. There's just a little bit more brown meat in the rest of the body section, which I'll put in with the rest of my brown meat and just get that out of the way. How do you crack the shell of a crab? Well, you can use, I'm dropping knives everywhere, you can use a hammer or you can use the back of a knife. Now, you may feel sort of more safe with a hammer, but actually it tends to break the shell up a bit, and so you get little filigree pieces of shell in your crab meat. If you can just get away with using the back of the knife and a sharp tap like that, you tend to be able to break the things away sort of easily. Now this is the best bit on the crab, I always think, just to get it out, just break that claw section away, just work this lovely chunk of meat out. Now then, just get my plate up here. The only rather sad thing, wouldn't that be nice if you could, that was one good bite, but there is actually a little sort of membrane running, or sort of very thin shell running down the centre of this bit, which you have to take out. See? So you just scrape that away with your crab pick, but you've still got some nice looking meat in there. And actually you can crack the rest of the claw in a similar sort of way. Again, just using, I sometimes use that bit, see? Like that. Watch your hands. It's the thing I sort of dread doing on that other TV programme, because, you know, we're always in such a hurry. It's no wonder I'd burn myself, cut myself, you know, but this is much more fun. So again, I'll just do another bit of the claw meat there. Lovely big chunks of meat coming out. So you do the same sort of thing with the legs. I'll just do one for you, because I think you can see what I'm at there. Let's take one of the legs. Now, I don't normally bother to go into these sections. You can if you've got plenty of time, but it's just that bit that I'm looking for on a crab like this. So again, just crack it gently. It's a bit of a knack, this, just getting it so it splits open without too much shell. Okay? And just work your pick in there. Get out a nice big nugget of meat. Okay, there's a bit more in there, which I'll just use the other end for. Fine. Okay, now to the really difficult bit, the bit that nobody likes doing, but have patience. Oh, I just forgot. You see, just in the end of the claw there's a little nugget of meat as well. So just work that out with your pick. See? It's good eating too. And now into this little bit. What I tend to do is to cut the shell in half and then cut it in quarters, like that. And then just take each quarter as it comes. First of all, go for the bit in the where the legs came out, as I said before. Just use the sort of spoon end of your pick. And just work in there as sort of gently as you can, because the object is to get the meat out, but not get those little thin bits of shell out as well. And then just think of it as a sort of, I don't know, series of little channels, and you just got to pull the white meat out of the channels. There's enough white meat in a crab like this to make the next dish which I want to show you, which is a timbala crab with a sweet and slightly sharp tomato sauce. And timbala is just sort of posh word for meaning a little sort of mole.